Katy Perry and Lady Gaga have always had their similarities. They broke through mainstream media the same exact year, using shock factor and controversy to boost their status. The root of their most famous sounds and styles are dance and electropop. And as their career grew into their primes, they both wore equally outrageous and over-the-top costumes. The summit of this can be seen in both Lady Gaga's Born This Way era and Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. They were extremely dominant forces in music and entertainment at the beginning of the 2010s, known for their towering singles that often centered focus on empowerment or romance. They were always bound to be mentioned in a conversation with each other since they mirrored each other in many ways, and established the face and sound of an entire era in popular music. Make no mistake though, even though the similarities were present and palpable, they still are and were very different acts with very different approaches and different offerings. Lady Gaga always took herself seriously, and maybe too much at times, which negatively impacted her down the line. While Katy sung her empowerment tunes with serious intent, she was a bit more carefree until she wasn't, which also contributed to her negatively down the line. Lady Gaga delivered her brand with a dark sound and aesthetic, with a specific focus on fashion and avant-garde imagery. Katy Perry decorated her sound and aesthetic with colorful and sweet upbeat melodies, with a specific focus on quirky and comical fashion. Although Katy had started off as a bit more simple when she debuted with One of the Boys, her image couldn't be more different by the time 2010's Teenage Dream came around. Everything became more over the top and cartooned. I think 2011's Born This Way cover and 2010's Teenage Dream cover show a great job of highlighting how differently Katy and Gaga presented themselves in their art. While Gaga would attempt to transform and level up her campiness with 2013's art pop, Katy sought to mature her colorful aesthetic with Prism, presenting herself in a way that was a bit more refined. But to be clear, the playfulness was not lost. Although Katy and Gaga traded shady remarks in the media every once in a while, they never had an actual beef or feud, but they don't seem to necessarily get along and never seem to. They appear to be cordial. When Perry shocked our crowd with a mechanical horse and green hair for her Prismatic World Tour, Gaga responded in a casually shady tweet saying, "It looks like green hair and mechanical horses are the thing now." Apparently Gaga referred to the similarities of her entrance on a mechanical horse at the 2013 American Music Awards red carpet. After Lady Gaga was filmed saying that she would fucking die for her fans during the Art Rave tour, Katy reportedly responded to the pretentious remark in her interview with Rolling Stone, and the following quote is speculated to be a diss at Gaga. "Some people are so dramatic about it, and you're like, honestly, you're not the second coming, you're just an entertainer," as well as, "I'm not like a crazy I'm gonna die for my fans type." Both Applause and Roar were leaked on the same day. Both were lead singles from then upcoming albums, and both were from Pop's Titans who were rumored to have some tension. Gaga had to rush release Applause. Whether the comparison between the songs was justified or not, the comparison was pretty inevitable considering the events leading up to the releases. Roar was always predicted to be the biggest hit, and it was. In week 1, the song sold 557,000 copies. Meanwhile, Applause sold 218,000 copies first week, just 39% of Perry's opening sales. Roar went on to become a mammoth hit, selling over 10 million copies in the United States alone and spending 2 weeks at the #1 spot, while Applause peaked at number 4. Lady Gaga infamously responded to Roar outperforming Applause, and despite her claiming she didn't make music for the charts, she got a lot of backlash for encouraging her fans to buy multiple copies of the song, which was suspected to be so Applause could beat Roar. It was so apparent that Gaga got called out by Billboard's editorial director, who posted, "An artist tweeting out and Facebooking a link that enables a fan to hit play and leave their computer is not in the spirit of what we chart." Nonetheless, Applause would remain the biggest hit of art pop and the only top 10 hit from the album. Now, since we got the history out of the way, it's time to express my positives and grievances with both of these songs. First of all, the songs aren't similar in any way, at all. I guess you could say at their core they're both about empowerment, but they don't take the same angle. Applause is about validation from fans and art. Roar is about being empowered in oneself. The only thing really similar about these songs is the lead up to the release. They sound totally different. Applause is a heavy and aggressive EDM and electro-pop song with stuttering synths and a very over-the-top vocal performance from Gaga. By the time it came out, pop was headed in a different direction. Roar had more of an incline of what that direction was. The smothering electro-pop beats are non-existent. Instead, Katy opts for bouncy pianos and lively drums. It's a power pop song that doesn't rely on EDM. Still, the sentiment of Roar is extremely cheesy, and the lyrics ride on some of the most generic cliches. It sounds like it was engineered to be as inoffensive as possible so it could succeed in being a massive hit. It's bland, but it's very catchy and effective. It also bears striking similarities to Sarah Bareilles' Brave. I don't think Applause is necessarily as instantly catchy as Roar, or as gratifying as Gaga's best singles, but it does have a compelling narrative, a bit of an interesting approach to the songwriting, and is unmistakably Gaga. Applause is far more interesting to listen to, even if it is a song that sounds heavily rooted in its time period. Ultimately, I don't have super strong positive or negative feelings about either song. I felt like Roar set out to do what it meant to do, in becoming a huge catchy song that is palpable for the masses, but it draws upon a similar narrative of her previous singles like Firework and Part of Me. Applause was a nice single that dragged behind a little bit, but it's really not as essential to Gaga as Roar is to Katy. Roar, however, is more likely to annoy me when hearing it due to how tedious it is. Realistically, if any hit from that era should have been compared to Roar so heavily, it's Rachel Platten's Fight Song. Both are extremely similar and equally inoffensive, or even Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. Music videos have always been a key interest in both Lady Gaga and Katy Perry's artistry. A lot of their music videos are over the top, fun, and you never knew what to expect from them. Their videographies undoubtedly place them in some of the most recognizable music video acts of all time, and two of the most captivating of their era. At their commercial heights, there was always a very high budget, campy costumes, and a few compelling storylines. They really kept pop tradition alive with their music videos, and it seemed like they were always trying to top themselves. Applause doesn't quite land as one of Gaga's best music videos, but it is still a good music video. It's filmed in black and white and has the essence of a bunch of different photo shoots that were filmed and put together. It's more about style than a direct play on the song. Roar, on the other hand, is a direct play on the song. The video features Katy finding her way in the jungle and eventually taming animals with her roar and not fearing the jungle or animals. The video is extremely cheesy and feels like a run-on commercial, especially with the very heavy-handed product placement, which is so out of place in context of the video. At the same time, I can at least respect the effort to put a storyline in the video, but it's not exactly something to watch to feel gratitude. It's just very goofy. But at the same time, given its success, it is quintessential Katy. Funnily enough, I wouldn't rank either of these videos in their top 5 videos. They're not even the best music videos from their respective albums. Both of these videos can be slightly headache-inducing, whether it's due to the constant change of costumes and exaggerated movements and applause, or how over-the-top Roar is. It has very bad acting. And by the way, the video is so literal, like a literal roar off with a tiger. Still, something about that is admirable. I think Applause is the music video that is a bit stronger out of the two, but it's not a total knockout. Which song is better? Applause. But which song was more effective in its circumstances? Roar. So the release of these two singles gave us a huge career-defining hit for Katy Perry, a subtle hit for Gaga that would serve as a benchmark for her messiest era, but still a decent pop tune, even if it isn't essential to her. It also gave the media an epic showdown of chart-friendly competition from two of the biggest female pop stars of their time. After Prism and after Art Pop, neither one of them would ever be the same. It was a true turning point for both. Katy Perry and Lady Gaga have had their tension, but they do get along now, and have shown love to each other in the media numerous times. Roar would endure immense success on the charts, and Applause has likely become an enduring fan favorite. Still, these songs are so vastly different, but given the circumstances, it makes a lot of sense why the media and fans clung to this chart battle.